What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here, and I'm guessing that YouTube didn't like the fact that I put out that video on Brittany Grimer yesterday. Let's just be real. They've blocked literally 10 videos. I've been going hard. I've made videos all evening having to do with my concealed carry or my defensive pistol class and so on. But they all got blocked, so hopefully, usually, in most cases, they do it within 24 hours. So we'll see. Anyways, I know you guys don't like looking at me. You like looking at my firearms, so I'm sorry. But what I've noticed is, regardless of what I put on the table firearm-wise and talk about, regardless of what I do, even if it's a holster, even if it's just a one bullet, they'll block it today. So, sorry about that, guys, but I do have some awesome content for you guys. Some full-length videos, 10 minutes, 8 minutes, 6 minutes, and so on. Also, demonstrations from the class. It was awesome. But I did want to share one thing from the class with you guys. One of the benefits to having a Glock is clearing malfunctions. So, the person who taught one of my first defensive pistol classes, retired Marine, he actually was in the infantry, taught the infantry, and so on. He's amazing with the firearm. He's a beast, and you should see his carry firearm. He has a Glock 19 Gen 5 beat to crap. He's got a light on it, Trichicon night sights, red dot, beat to crap. Doesn't care. He goes, you know why? This thing has ran through so many rounds without a single issue. I trust it with my life. The other reason, he said, the malfunctions. Malfunction clearing. He's like, when we're in the Marines, and when using the SIG, it jams. And when it jams, it locks up, and you need a rod to jam down the barrel to clear that jam. And obviously, that presents a huge issue in self-defense as well as fighting wars. Let's be real. And he said that's the number one complaint he gets from people still to this day about the SIGs, especially from people who are fighting or training for our country. And so he goes, that's why I wish they would have took the Glock 19X. He said, I have nothing against SIG. I'm not just a diehard Glock guy, but that's the truth. And so 2 days ago now, in my class, it sort of proved itself. He explained how some of these firearms that aren't set up the same way as a Glock, they don't clear the same way as other people. And the whole class was about clearing malfunctions. So what they did is, they didn't load your firearm with snap caps. They loaded them up with empty casings. So casings that were already shot just on the ground. They picked them up, and they would trick you. They'd put 1 round, then 3 deads, and then 2 rounds, and 1 dead, and then, and so on. They made it hard on you. They made it so you really had to work to clear that malfunction. On top of that, they made it so you had to, learn how to keep your hand steady, even when that firearm doesn't go off, to notice if you're dipping or not, to fight that recoil. That was awesome that they pointed out. They're like, do you guys realize how much you're all dipping right now? And I'm like, no. And so I started paying attention to it. I'm like, wow, that could really affect your shots. But anyways, corrected it. But someone had a Staccato. I don't know which one because I'm not too familiar with Staccatos. He was the best shooter in the class. He works where the class was. Had a red dot. Like I said, it held 20 rounds or 21 rounds, something crazy like that. I know because I had to load his mags with the empty casings. He was an amazing shooter, but he shot slower than people. He took more time. Like when we were supposed to be doing hammer groups, he still took his time and was doing control groups, and whereas I would just let the shots, I still had great groupings. I just followed what I was told to do. Anyways, he said at the last time he did that class, they had to take a rod and jam it down the barrel 3 times because the thing locked up. So we were doing the class, and what happens? The whole thing locked up. He's like, I can't even move it. So, of course, the instructor grabbed the firearm, made sure everything's safe. Awesome class. Awesome people. I really enjoyed the people in this class. That's one of the greatest things about these classes. You can have nothing in common with these people in the world. You all show up and you love firearms. Literally. Have a good time. It was awesome. Anyway, so they had to, it took 5 minutes to clear a malfunction. That's crucial in self-defense. The whole point of us going to that class was defensive pistol skills, right? So when you have part of your defensive pistol class is having to leave for 5 minutes to clear a jam, that's an issue. Nothing against him. He is a Staccato for a reason. He's deadly accurate with it. It's scary how accurate the man is. But it's the firearm. And that's the same thing with SIGs. That's why so many people steal the Glock design after that whole patent debacle went down. They steal the design because that is a #1 thing in a firearm. If you have a malfunction, not just having a reliable firearm, but if you do have a malfunction for whatever reason, you're up close and personal fighting with someone, something hits the slide, there's a million reasons a firearm can have a malfunction that isn't caused by the firearm. It can be literally you're in the fight for your life, you're on the ground grappling with someone, trying to get to that firearm, and it just hits something. I mean, it is what it is. Anyways, think about if you got shot in the arm, and that arm's completely, it's dead. You can't even do anything with it. how do you clear a jam with one hand where you can't even rack the slide back? Whereas they taught us a million ways to clear a jam with like a Glock. You could literally tuck it in your shoulder if you had to, aim it away from you, obviously. Tuck it behind your knee. Anywhere you can tuck your firearm, that's a way to reload. And on top of that, that's a way to clear a malfunction without having the other arm. But can you clear a malfunction where your whole slide's locked up with one arm? You can't. At that point, you're done. Let's be real. That's why I know people hate on Glock. They say they're overpriced. They say they come with cheap sights. You know, there's a million things people say, and that's fine. I agree. They are expensive for what they are. They're great, but I trust my life with them. So the question, I guess, is what price do you put on your life? What price are you willing to pay in order to protect yourself and not have an issue happen? And I'm not saying all Glocks are perfect, but I know for a fact you're not going to be jamming a guide rod down a Glock barrel, jamming it after you paid $2,500 for it or $3,000 or whatever Staccatos are. You'd think if you were paying $3,000, if you were buying a Lamborghini of the firearm market, a Ferrari of the firearm market, that would be able to clear malfunctions easily. He said this happened 3 times last class. It only happened 1 time in our class. And honestly, for me, it was a learning experience. It was a learning experience for a lot of people there. Seeing that my Glock 43X that I paid $450 for, or it was a 48 when I bought it, and then I bought an upper, didn't have any issues. No malfunctions that weren't induced by the class and those dead rounds. But didn't have any malfunctions where I needed to jam a barrel down it, or a guide rod down the barrel, or sorry, not guide rod, a rod down the barrel. Like, so that just made me think, like I said, there's always that sweet spot. Above 400, below 800, you know, because the HKs are up there, and great firearms, amazing fire. Like, you want to include HKs in there, and then down, basically, price range-wise. Anything above or below, it's just life. That's like with anything. It's like fixing a Lamborghini part that goes wrong. It's going to be hard to find someone who deals with those kind of parts, and, you know, an issue tends to be a big issue with cars like that. So it is what it is. I had a lot of fun. I learned so much, and I learned how hard it is to do a tactical reload, literally, when you're in the fight for your life dealing with malfunctions. Like, it just is what it is. A tactical reload did a lot of great things. So I really enjoyed that. Like I said, it's a learning experience. That's all firearms are. That's all this channel is about, is a learning experience for everyone. And what I took away from that is I'm glad I got a Glock as my carry firearm. I don't want to get caught with my P365 out there that jams and I can't clear it, you know. Although I love my SIGs. I'm not going to lie. I do love my SIG P365, my P365 XL, my Backer. I love them all. They're all great firearms. But it made me a little cautious about the malfunction clearing issue, which, you know, I'm sure that can happen with a Glock, but it just didn't. And so many people at the class had Glocks. And we were all using these dead casings. And what was happening is his would get, like, stuck in the perfect spot to where that slide was just, it was crazy. Couldn't even move it the slightest bit. Imagine someone taking something of yours that's $3,000, just bashing that thing. Like, I'd be scared. But anyways, that's why I like a Glock. I feel like it's a perfect price range, reliability, ease of use, malfunction clearing, magazine compatibility, parts availability. I mean, the list goes on, and that's why I like it. But, you know, we all have our personal preference. Nothing against your choice. I'm just trying to help people understand why there are certain things that happen with certain malfunctions. And it's just simply the design. The FCU from SIG is amazing. The fact that it can go in any firearm. The FCUs are awesome. It's a crazy design. But is it the best design? Sometimes easy is better. I hate to say it. Sometimes easier is better. Not always, but sometimes. Thanks for watching.